Are you there?
Not yet. Wait.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Hello.
Hello Gora, good morning.
Hi, Nisa. Hi, everyone.
Hey, girl.
Hi. Hi, Pius. Hi, Subhas. Nisan, Asis, hi, everybody. Hi, Krishna. So,
Hello.
guys, yeah. Yeah, please, if you have some questions, as well as check the bootcamp portal as well, okay? I have added a few questions yesterday. We'll try to do those as well. And let me wait for 2 minutes and then I'll start this session, right? Okay, everyone. I think it's slightly long. So can we start our session? Are you everybody guys ready to start the session? Did anyone try to actually solve those questions in the bootcamp portal?
Yes, sir. I have solved one question and I'm doing it right now.
Anybody else? Did you try that one? Bootcamp portal?
Yes, sir. I have solved.
Yeah. Yes. I got it. Okay. So as maybe possible to share your screen. How did you approach your solution?
Gaurav, I am not able to see the question on my dashboard.
Okay. I'll share my screen, sir.
Sure. Samyak, right? Samyak,
Yes.
go, go to the portal, check if there you can see the questions in the React. Uh, I'll share my screen after a few moments once you guys share this screen. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So as are you going to share now or? Oh, okay. Yeah, we are seeing a screen. I think you are mute, right?
Yeah, this is the first question I have solved.
Yeah, this is regarding shifting the
Consecutive.
position point, right? 1 0.
No, the maximum number of consecutive ones in the array.
Okay, yeah. The maximum number of consecutive ones in an array. Yeah. So can you show the output as well as explain real quick
Oh,
what you did here?
okay, fine. Can you see my console, sir?
Yeah, we can see it.
Uh, okay. I have looked through the array.
Okay.
Sir, I need to explain it.
Yeah, you can quickly if you want. Otherwise, you can just show the output by changing the input only.
Yeah, let's just this is our answer should be three.
That should be 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's three.
Okay.
Yeah, just I have looked through an array and first of all I initially final count is equal to zero and increase count I made is through zero and what I have done is check if the number is equal to one, then I increase the count and again in
Right.
after that it will go through the else, it will not go through the else statement, it will go to another if else statement, like if increase count is greater than final count, that means our initial increase count is zero, that means our increase count is one right now, it will be final count will be one and again it will go through next iteration and this is one and that means again our final count will be two, but again we get zero, that means we'll go through else statement, that means our increase count is zero and again increase count is zero is not greater than final count as our final count is two, then again it go through iteration, then right now we have a three, it will it will match increase count is will be now three, That means 3 is greater than final count, which is our 2. That means our final count will be 3. So that our output is 3.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, this is essentially you store the maximum count in some variable, right?
Yeah,
In
right. Yeah, right.
whenever that increase count is trying to be updated, means if you are seeing some one in your input, then you will update that increase count, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
All right, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Subhash.
Okay, sir.
Let's try to solve another one as well. So we will try to approach those questions as well in today's session, but let's do something else regarding React first, and we'll go there later. Okay. Please, can you see my screen? I think I'm paused for a few moments. Okay, is my connection good? Can you hear me well, everyone?
Yes, Gaurav.
Okay. So last time we wrote some JavaScript utility function. You can call it a utility function, which will check if these brackets are valid here or not. You can write some utility function depending upon the need of your application, and we have actually placed those utility function in this utils folder, right? Later we'll write some more as well, and we'll place those here. And whenever we want, we will export those from here, and whenever we want, we will import it from any file, any JavaScript file. Any file means any JavaScript component or any other JavaScript file, right? I can have like service.js, something like this, and now I can import that is valid here. What I can write is I can write import is valid from I need to go inside SRs. I need to go inside utils, right? So utils slash is valid. Now what I can do is call that is valid from here as well. So now I can call it is exported as check brackets, and I'm importing as is valid here. Last time I imported as check brackets here. So let me first import it as check brackets, and later we'll see if we can rename it or not. So now I have previously called this function from here as well. Let me call it from service. I'm just trying to check if I can do it from here or not. So I need to pass the brackets here, right? Bracket here. So let me pass this invalid here. Let me save it. So if I save it, we cannot see anything on the console. Can you tell me why is that? Why am I not seeing this console log right here in the console? What I did
Something
is
wrong with the bracket.
no, this is
This file has not been imported to app.js.
right. That's correct. It is never used actually. We created it. We created service.js file, and inside there we wrote something, but we didn't actually use this file. Never anywhere, right? Because it need to go inside index.html at least, right? Or it needs to interact either with app.js or index.js because they are already connected to index.html, right? So it hasn't actually interacted with those files already. That's why it will not execute itself. That's why we cannot say anything on the console. Previously, this is valid is connected with app.js, right? And app.js is connected with index.js, right? From here. And index.js is connected to index.html, right? So that's why we can see this on the screen, this on the browser. If you want to see something on the browser or on the browser console, you need to send that file here. or you need to at least connect that to HTML file. So since these two files, app.js and index.js, are already connected here, we can actually interact with any of them. So yeah. So what can I do? Can you tell me what should I do here? I have this console log here. I want to just run this one. This is actually, we haven't created any React component here, right? And we haven't actually created some variables here as well. We just actually wrote something and displayed something. So actually what we will do is, most of the time in the React application, we will create a component here. So how can you actually create a component? Component is just a function, right? You'll write something like and return
Quakers by people who believe peace is the way, right? So when this 12-year-old disappears while jogging,
I think it's
there is
done,
a
right?
huge hope.
If you are responsible, I speak for this team when I say there is a maximum commitment to find you.
You are on mute.
Oh, sorry, I think I muted myself as well. Yeah, what I did is I created a component, exported it from here. So previously I was trying to actually call this one as well, this function from here as well. Now I exported. Since I exported from here, can I now use it either inside app.js or inside index.js, guys? Most of the time we'll not import something inside index.js a lot. We'll see that later. What should we import it here? We'll import those components inside app.js. So I have it. Can I say I have service component? Can I say it?
Yes.
So then how can I import it here? What should I do?
You need to do import service from and provide that file path.
Okay, so let me write import service from, and where should I go from here? Inside service directly, right? Because it is the neighbor of app.js. Okay, so now I imported it. What is this actually? This is a React component, right? So how should I now use this one? How can I use this one, this service?
I think you can
Yeah.
probably directly call that function that you just created within that service.js, right?
Yeah, now if I save this file, will I see that console log here in the console from service.js?
Probably not. You may have to use it here.
So if I don't use this service, will not this line execute from top to bottom? This one. Is this app.js already running?
Yes.
So this app.js is already imported in index.js, right? It is already running, right? And it is rendered over index.html. So it means the line from 1 to line until 11 will execute. And let's see, let me say, now we are seeing invalid here. It is coming from service.js, line number 3. Let's go there. Here, line number 3, this one. So what happens here actually? This is really important. We imported this component over app.js right here. And now it will start executing from top to bottom, means it will first execute this one, line number 1. It will execute everything inside this directory, if it can, okay? What do I mean if it can? So line number 1 is now running, means it will go inside this directory. You can click a command or control and directly go here. Now it will start executing this code from top to bottom. Now can you tell me, will this code actually execute from line number 1 to all the way to line number 36? Which lines do you think will only execute from here? Or do all these lines execute?
The export line will be executed because function won't be executed.
That's correct. Yeah, this is a function, right?
Yeah.
Function will never itself execute. We need to call it somewhere. That's why importing means we are not executing our functions. We are just executing something else which are written, only this line. So just take that in. Just remember that, okay? So because what we are doing here is also we are importing this service.js inside app.js here. So what happens? Which line from service.js will execute now?
Line number 3 and 9.
Yeah, line number 3. Line number 1 will not execute.
I think line number 6 and line number 1.
Line number 6. Why line number 6? This is a function, will not execute, right? Inside that function, we have some code. This function will not execute itself. We haven't actually called it anywhere.
Oh,
Isn't
okay. Okay. If we have not
It is
called
like
it, it's not.
1, 3, 9.
Correct. 1, 3, 9. So just look at this very carefully. This is really important. What we did is we imported this service.js in app.js. Now it will first start executing line number 1, line number 2. Now when it reaches to line number 3, it will go inside this location, inside service.js here. Now it will start executing line number 1 until line number 9. Now it will first execute line number 1. So what will happen here? Where will it go? It will now go inside this location right here. It will execute everything here. It hasn't anything there to execute. Actually, it has only export statement. Now it will once again reach back to the service.js. It will execute line number 2, nothing there. Line number 3, now there is a console. That's why we are seeing this console statement. And line number 4, and this will not execute actually. Line number 8 and line number 9. So in this way, you need to actually remember when your function is traveling, sorry, your execution is traveling. The execution traveling means once it starts executing line number 1, it will go inside here first, because line number 1 is just importing everything from here. Everything means actually this function, but it will at least go here. All right. So that's why we can see invalid there coming from service.js. But this code is not executing, right? This 5 to 7. If I write here, I am from service.js, something like this. This is not executing, right? If I save it, we are not seeing that I am from service.js anywhere. Or I can write it inside div tag, because we need to use some div tag, right? Or any tag to display that. Okay. We cannot see it anywhere, right? So what should I do to display this I am from service.js here on the screen? What should I do?
You have to call that function in app.js.
Okay, go in app.js and call that function. You need to just slightly change your language there. What should we actually call instead of saying you have to call that function? Instead, what should we actually say?
Render.
What?
Right, render what?
Render the function.
Render the function. Yeah, render the component. So we will say, instead of saying you have to call this function, we'll say you have to render that component. Okay, why am I saying that? Why am I saying this? A component and render?
In React,
Component
we
because
call
we-
function a component.
yeah, in React as well, but in React also there we also have a function, right? This is a function, not a component. This is a function. That's what in React we may have function as well as component. Component when? What is the condition for component?
When you're displaying something on screen.
Yeah, that's also correct. But if you go in more technical,
it has a return statement and it has at HTML.
yeah, that's absolutely right. It has a return statement which is returning HTML. We call it JSX especially, right? And it also starts its letter with capital letter. This is just a convention. Actually, React will warn you if you don't use capital letter here. That's why this is a component. So you will say this as a component, not a function. You need to remember that first. And the second thing is, why are we saying render instead of calling a function? We are saying render it instead of saying call it. Why is that? So first, somebody assist me. How can I render that component here somewhere? Maybe let me expand this one a little bit more. Let me put this in React fragment. Okay, now what should I write here to render that component? Render means call, right? You know how to call a function.
There is like I know what do you call that sign? The component name inside that. I know what do you call
This
it?
sign.
Yeah.
Talking about this one.
HTML tags.
Yeah, this is HTML opening tag, you can say. So you need to write HTML opening tag and service. Is this what you are referring there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So instead of calling this function in this way, right, in here, let me try to do that. Instead of calling this function in this way, we say render, right? That's why we will render this component in this way. This is what we discovered last time in our session. Now, if I save this now we are seeing this content coming from our JavaScript file. This is now printing on the screen. The synonymous is this is now rendering on the screen. That's why we call this render. We are rendering something on the screen, right? We are printing, we are displaying something on the screen. That's why we named it. We are rendering this function, this component, instead of saying we are calling this function. Now you may have realized the difference between function and a component. Component is not actually returning JSX. If you see here, function actually. Yeah, function is not returning JSX. If you see here, this is a function. This function is just returning a string. Okay, we are not returning JSX here. We are not returning some HTML elements or tags here. Component, in the other hand, is returning a JSX here. And the name is also starting with a capital letter. If I make it a small letter, let's see, I'm calling it all the time capital. Let's see what happens if I make this a small letter. Small one, small one. And if I save it now, what happens? Service not found. Refresh it. Now it says service is not defined. Oh, here is, this is fine service, right? It is coming from line number 9, service.js line number 9. Let's go here. On line number 9, this is a small letter. 1 second, I need to make it. Now, what happened here? Oh, wait, what is that? So what happens here? Can you see? I created a component with a small letter, actually. Small letter here and exported it with a small letter, imported it with a small letter here and rendered it with a small letter. What happened? Actually, React actually provided me a warning, sent me a warning, and it says, hey, a tag is unrecognized in this browser. If you mean to render a React component, start its name with an uppercase letter. That's why this is a React standard. That's why what we need to do is make this uppercase. Now, guys, just tell me, can I only make this uppercase only? This one only uppercase? I have exported it with a small case, all the small case, but I'm importing it with uppercase. Will it work? What do you think?
No.
Probably not.
It will not work. Let's see. Let's save it. Let me refresh it. It's working. So it means, can I write anything here? Something like my service, and it will work?
Yes.
Mean
It will work because it's a default, right?
That's correct. It is a default export. That's why it will work. It is a default export. That's why we can now make here a capital letter. But it is a good practice to make capital letter here as well. Since this is the default export, that's why we can write anything here while we are importing. Anything, any name here. But if it is a named export, named means we will directly export here. We'll write export directly here. This is a named export. This is a default export. Now, since this is a named export, if I now go here, I cannot write my service. And you see on the screen, if you read it carefully, it says export default imported as my service was not found. What it is actually saying is, hey, you don't have a default export in service.js, and you are importing it like a default import, default export. That's why it is not working. So what do we need to do here to make it workable with named export?
Curly braces.
Yeah, put this in curly brace. And another thing, can I rename it here now? Or do I need to write service exactly here? Let's see. Let me save it.
Yeah, exactly.
It will not work if you try to rename it here with named export. You cannot do that. You need to write exact name, what you are exporting there. Okay, this is important, okay? So with default export, you need to actually exactly reference whatever you are importing. Exactly reference the same name. But we can rename it as well. This is like destructuring, right? Object destructuring, right? And with object destructuring, we can rename it. And we do it in React with using yes keyword. Let's see. Service as my service, let's say. Let me write my service here. And let me save it. Now it is once again working. So if you want to rename your component name with object destructuring or with named export, you need to use this as keyword inside curly brace and rename it with your name. Now this service will not work, only my service will work here. But with default export, this is named export, okay? Let me comment this one. But with default export, we can directly do my service here. And you need to actually make this default export instead of named export. This is actually a named export. Let me go here. Let me comment this one. And if I remove this export from here, and this is a default export. Okay, guys, you understand the difference between named and default export?
Yes.
Is there
Yeah.
a time where you'd want to use one over the other?
Yeah. So if you have multiple components here, like here is a function, right? Service, right? Inside service, you may have, like, let's say first service. This is a first service. This is a second service, let's say. And now I am only exporting first service here. And I need to go there. It will once again work because this first service here can be renamed because this is a default export, and here it can be renamed. I can write first service here as well. It's working. But what happens? I just want to export this one as well. Let me export it once again with another default. And if you remember, I have actually addressed that situation. Now it is showing me error here. So let me hover over here and let's see what happens. Actually, it says a module cannot have multiple default exports. Okay. So are you getting what it is saying here?
Yeah.
So we cannot write multiple default export in a single file. In a single file, it should have only a single default export. Now, what can we do then? I cannot write this, right? Not possible. So this is invalid. So what should I do instead?
Create named exports.
Right. Create a name. Make this a named export. Yeah, I can have multiple named export in a single file. So now this is actually useful now. I can create a named export. That's fine. So you can write second service.js. This is just, let's do second service. Say first service. This is just example, okay? And if I now go here in app.js, now I can actually, so guys, you don't have to actually go here and import it all the time. What you can also do is, this is important for productivity. What you can also do is go here, directly write second service, and it will actually provide you the suggestion to import it automatically. And you can click here. Now see, it is imported here with a named export. This is a named export syntax. Okay.
So you can do both default and named export.
That's correct. But you can only do one default export from a file, but multiple named export at the same time. Okay, but you cannot do multiple default export from a file. Okay. Is it fine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is regarding importing and exporting something from React. And I think you are now confident with
Can you
this.
go to the app.js, please?
Yeah, here. You see something?
No, I was just looking.
Okay. I'm doing this in a single line. You can actually do it in another line. But since it is importing it from a same location, that's why you can have a default here and a name here. And if you have other named export, you can write comma here and write those names. Okay. But you cannot have more than one default export. That's why you will only have a single default export from there. All right, then let me commit it. So this is actually import and export in React. So currently I'm, oh, it will not work here. I'm in my branch, actually. I need to create a pull request. Guys, I think Subhas already solved one problem. Subhas, can you send it to GitHub, create a pull request? Can you do that? Or do I need to guide you regarding that one?
I will try it, sir, after this session.
Yeah, currently, can you do like what you need to do is, do you have your one branch with your name?
Link as well.
So do you have your branch name in this repository? Let me go. We have our React working code here, right? Let's go here. We are working on this repository, and most of you have your one branch starting with your name here. And Subhas, do you have your branch as well? I think you don't have it, right?
I think.
Subhas, you need to actually create your branch. What you need to do is to create a branch, you will go in the terminal and write git checkout. Actually, nowadays, there is another term introduced. Instead of checkout, we need to use switch, because checkout is slightly doing multiple things. So at now you can also use checkout. What you need to do is write git checkout and -v, and you need to actually write your name here to create a branch with your name. And hit enter, you will actually see your name here. Currently I'm seeing mine, right? And once you did that, so that's what you need to do is just go inside this utils, create another file. What is that? Consecutive count, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you can write a similar name here, like count, random count, something like that, random count.js or consecutive count.js, and then send it to GitHub. Create a pull request. Can you create a pull request?
Yeah, I'll do it. Right now, I need to do it, sir.
Yeah, if possible, just try it. Otherwise, you can do it later as well.
Yeah, I'll try it, and if not, I'll do after this session.
All right, sure. So if anybody else is also getting the solution already, then guys, you can create your pull request. Okay, this is how we collaborate all the time. So what you need to do is, where is my another tab? Do I have it? Here. Okay. So what you will do is create a pull request here. Actually, currently you cannot merge this here, I think. And you cannot directly push in the master. Previously, most of you can, right? I think I have disabled that permission now. Now you cannot directly send your code in the master branch here, or I have renamed it to main. You cannot now send your code to main branch. You need to create a pull request from your one branch. So if you have already solved these questions from Bootcamp portal, for example, if Pratik has already solved it, then Pratik will create a pull request from his own repository, and I will see that pull request here. Okay, and then I will just review your code and merge it to the main. Means I will take those code here on the main, and I will merge it here, and I will put this here inside basic React. Alright guys, if you can, then you can do it right now. If somebody can, somebody has already solved this question. Otherwise, do it later as well. Just send me pull request, then I'll merge it here. Okay, for now, I want to actually send this code to GitHub. What you need to do, create a pull request is I'm just showing it here right now. First, you need to have your branch name. As I told you that you can create your branch name by writing this command git checkout b and the name of your branch. You can also see what are the branches available. What are the branches available by just writing git branch -a command or -r as well, I think. And you will see all the branches available there. And if you don't have your one branch name, then you can create your branch name by that command git checkout, or you can also use git switch command as well. This is the same command, okay? And your branch name, for example, Pratik here, and you will see your one name, one branch name, something like that. Now you will have your solution here, right? Now what you will do is send it to GitHub first. I need to add this all to staging area, and I need to commit it. And this is like import, export in React. This is a commit. Now I will push it. It will now go to GitHub. Oh, it is not working. What happens? This one is not correct. Hit push. It will now go to GitHub. Now let me go to GitHub once again. Okay. I need to bring this one here. And here, can you see? You will see something like this. Once you actually send something to your branch, it will say, hey, your branch has some recent pushes less than a minute or less than some time ago, and you want to compare it and create a pull request. Now, once you have some changes, what you will do is create a pull request. So guys, if you are creating a pull request, make sure that you are solving any of the questions, okay? Don't create your code and don't write any code in your branch and create a pull request. If you are solving something or if you are contributing to something, then only create a pull request. So currently, if you are solving any of the bootcamp portal questions, then only create a pull request. So you will click here on compare and pull request. And now you will click here, you will write something here. It is already written from that commit message, right? So you can write, you can click here on the create pull request. So now pull request is created. Maybe you will not see this button is enabled because only the owner can merge it right now. Maybe, okay. So if you cannot see it, then I will actually see, I'll go to the repository, I'll get some notifications as somebody created pull request, then I'll go here on pull request and I'll click here. This is a pull request I created, right? What you guys can also do is add me a reviewer here. So you can click here and choose any, you can add others to as your reviewer as well. If you and other colleagues or other friends here in the bootcamp are working together, then you can add your friend here as a collaborator, or sorry, as a reviewer. Reviewer means he will review your code. Okay. So currently I can merge your code to master branch, then you can search me here. Currently I am not shown myself, I think. Then you can just add me as a reviewer. Then I'll just review your code. And if your code is fine, then I'll click here on merge pull request and I'll merge it to the main branch. And now that code will actually come to the main branch here. Okay, this is how most of the time you will see software companies are working regarding your Git histories. So it doesn't have to be GitHub. It can be Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, anything. But this is just a workflow, simple workflow. Okay, guys, any question, confusion until now? Everybody is silent here. I think you are all confused with whatever I explained here. Do you want to ask me something? Is there something you are confused about?
Just need to practice, I think.
Yeah, if you haven't, then yeah, you need to practice it. You have to
Can you
actually
pull
do
from
it.
your branch right now?
Yeah, you can pull it.
Did you merge to master or it's in your Gorak branch, right?
It is already merged in master as well. Yeah.
But I had a question about the undefined part. Why was it undefined? The file.
Which one? Which one?
In React.
Oh, React means I need to go to code.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go there just a second. Okay. So actually, in GitHub, we will talk about that merge thing. We have two different things. One is fetching directly, pulling directly. Another thing is something called rebase. We'll talk about that thing, and you'll know more thing about GitHub, how you can directly actually have your code information on your one VS Code. We'll talk about something called Git rebase, as well as Git pull. We'll see some of the difference between rebase and directly pulling it from some of the brands later. Yeah, let me go to VS Code here. Where is that? Need to delete this one, I think. Yeah, yeah. What are you trying to ask? Undefined part here on the VS Code.
Invalid? You're saying invalid because the code structure, right?
Invalid here?
Showing invalid, yeah.
Yeah, why am I seeing invalid, right?
Yeah.
It is coming from service, right? Actually, service. This function is called from service. You can see the path here. So I need to go to service, right? So service and line number is also there, line number 3. And is this inside this double curly brace a valid parenthesis here?
No.
That is not a valid, right? That's why you're seeing invalid. If you
Okay.
pass a valid parenthesis here, then you will see valid. This is just calling the function passing parameter there.
Okay.
Okay, so I think this is, yeah, now printing valid. Okay, so this is a component, right, guys? This is a component, no doubt, right? Do any of you have some doubt saying that this is a component? I'm saying service.js, better to say you have something inside service.js which is a component. And here we have a component. We have two components actually in a single file. Most of the time you will have a single component. If you want to have a second component, you will create a second file. But it is possible to have multiple components within a file as well. That's why we have two components here. One is a named export, another one is a default export. Since this is consisting a component, you can create a folder called components. And now you can place this file here. So now we are better separating our files, creating folder structure properly. VS Code was suggesting to automatically fix the import. Now it has now added this component path automatically here because I changed the path as well, right? Okay, so we will now write components here inside components folder. I guess any confusion?
So it moved into components now?
Yeah, in the components, just creating a better structure. You can place it here inside SRC directly as well. But if you actually have their own location, then it will be easy later in the future to find what is this folder about, because you have thousands of files in here inside SRC in real React application. Then it will be hard to find those files here, or at least work with those files here from inside SRC folder. That's why we'll create individual folders, okay, for their corresponding scope. Scope means inside components will only place components. Inside utils will place utility functions. Later we'll create a lot of folders, okay?
So what are components and what are utilities?
Components are components, utilities are just JavaScript functions. If I say only this, will you understand?
Utilities are JavaScript functions. Do you have anything right now in utilities? Okay.
Have is valid, right? We created it last time. This is simple JavaScript function.
Oh, it's a JavaScript function. Okay, that's utility.
Yeah, this is the JavaScript function.
And components include JSX stuff, right? That's what I understood. Okay.
commit it as well. So I need to do all the time git add dot. So what I will do right now is directly do it from master branch. So let me unstage this one, bringing back down. Now I want to go to main branch, and from there, main doesn't exist. Okay. I think I only have a master. I renamed it to main branch, currently not synchronized here. Go to master one. So it says please commit. Yeah, maybe it is forcefully saying me to commit these things. I deleted this one. Okay, bring it here. Okay, it's saying commit these things. I cannot directly move from here to other branch, but previously I was able to move from master branch. Let's see. So it says something like stash name before you switch. Stash means saving something temporarily. What I can write is git stash and hit enter. If I write git stash, they will disappear from here and saved somewhere. But let's see, some of them may not disappear. Let's see. Stash is not disappearing this file. Okay, so what happened is it is saved in temporary location here in stash 0. I can get that out by writing git stash pop and stash @0. So there I have that file stored. Now once again it is here. So in this way I can move there or take it back from there. So let me once again try. Previously what was happening is it was just saving some of the files only. It is not able to save some file which is freshly created or renamed. So what I need to write is, for that purpose I need to write git stash, maybe something called save. Now I need to see the command. I just don't know what is the actual command there. So for that part, what I can do is I can write git stash save, and let's see here. We'll find. Yeah, actually you don't need to actually remember all of the command. If you know what is that doing, then you can actually search it anytime. Yeah, this is the command git stash save and some description. So this is like renaming files or component folder. We created component folder. Now all of them will be saved. Oh, all of them are not saved once again. Maybe I need to write something more there. Git stash save u. I think I need to have that u flag. Let me get that out once again from this, that is stash. Because if I go here, this is once again placed in this stack. I can take this out by writing git stash pop and the location there 0. Now these are here. Once again, I'll try to write the previous command. And I think I need to place that u flag in order to save all of those in the stack. Let's see. Okay, now all of them are saved in that stack. What I can do now is see that stash is there. This is here. Now I can safely migrate to the other branch. Now let's go to main branch or master branch. Here I am inside master branch. What I can now do is, now I can get that stash out, right? So git pop stash and the location of the stash, right? First you can see what is the name. That is stash @0, right? We need to write git, the same code that I wrote previously, pop stash, and that is actually stash. Well, let me go. I think I have written it. This one, git pop stash, and the location is this one @0. If I hit enter now, I'll get all of these 3 files here. Now it has something, some conflicts here. It says merge those things. So what happens here is I have something here. Okay. So if you go to the GitHub repository right now, maybe here, there is some conflicts actually. I want to just show you what happens there. So inside basic React, inside src, inside app.js, here, let me put this on the right if I can. Here, let's compare the code here. We have like we don't have this import statement here, right? And inside app.js in main, we don't have that import first service as well and import UUID as well, right? We don't have those two statements. And this is completely different. The code is completely different as well, the below one. We'll try to fetch that code. But what you can do previously, before actually pulling that stash out is, let me once again save this to stash and try to show you once again. I'm trying to save this in stash once again. Oh, this is not saved. All the codes are not saved now. Now I need to resolve this conflict. So what I can do is click on resolving merge. This is the opening area. So yeah, this is our change. This is the stashed change. This is the current code that we have. What you can do is click here, and you can click on accept stats changes, and here as well. And zero conflict remaining. Let me click on conflict close merge. And I think I have one saved in stats. I need to get that out as well. So actually, this is all about saving something, getting that in your from your Git history, combining with your other code in other brands. Yeah, this is all about Git, nothing about React. Okay. So let me pull this code from my brands now, because this is the code which is not similar. So what I can do is click on Git pull. Let's see if it can pull or not. Okay. Okay, from remote, but okay. Here I have something different. So this is actually the main branch, and it is different. Now I'm within the master branch, so that's why maybe I cannot pull it here. Let me try to pull for the main here. Let's see if it can work. Okay, it says commit before pulling. Let me commit then. Merged. So let me once again try to write this code. Okay, it says something about rebase, something like that. We'll see that sometimes later. Let me finally try to forcefully pull this code. Okay, so it is now not working because this is related to this master branch. Okay, this master branch is creating some conflicts. Maybe I'll show you tomorrow how we can rename this master branch and do all of those things in master branch. Okay, now once again, what I can do is go to my one branch. Now I'm inside my one branch. Now I can create a pull request from here as well. Must. So I need to first add it, right? Right, and then only write merged, and it should go here. Now I can push this code from here. Now what happens is, once again, it will come here and deleted it once again. And I'm doing all these things regarding Git, so that's why you don't need to worry about these things. So if you see, if I go here, it's not saying me to create a pull request, but if I go here, this is the merged code I just sent to my one repository. So there, what I did is created a separate folder called components. Inside there, we have service.js, and right now you can get this code from this branch. Okay, not in the main branch. I have this code here. And later, I will try to merge it to the main branch. Okay, by directly renaming that to main branch. Okay, guys, is these things making you confusing or slight confusion here? Are you not getting what I am doing here, guys?
Yeah.
Slightly confusing, right?
Yeah, it's why git stats is required.
So stats means maybe just try to see if you can stash something, get it in the other repository. Stash means just saving your things temporarily somewhere so that you can get that later. That is the thing that I did today. Another thing is merge something. Merging is done when some conflict arises in your code. We'll see later how we can better handle those merge conflicts as well. There are some better techniques to handle. And as well as I switched between multiple branches. So I sometimes go to master, come back to my one branch once again. So what happens? Just see what happens if you send code or your changes directly from your branch, or what happens if you try to send it to the master branch directly. You need to, I think, try to do it yourself and ask me what is wrong then if something is not working.
So if you are halfway to your work, still you want to share what you have done to your collaborators, that's why you don't want to commit, or you just stash in a temporary file that they can track your work and review at the same time as you go forward.
Yeah,
As you're working on the certain part of
currently
syntax. Yeah.
Whenever I'm pushing it, I'm trying to share my code with you. So
Yeah.
when I'm doing stash things, means I'm doing it myself, so that I can get my code in the other branch. I'm saving locally. Okay, stash will only be saved locally. So whenever I'm writing git stash means I'm saving it code temporarily on my VS Code, and I'll get that code from somewhere else, from other branch.
VS Code itself saves those syntax, right? Doesn't it?
What was that, Mukun?
I think so. It does, right? Unless you pull out.
Yeah, unless you pull this code from the repository, you will not get my code. You need to pull. Okay, I am pushing it means you need to pull that as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, why do you commit your half-done work or messy work to GitHub, which your collaborators will know? You want them to review and give a feedback, or you're just saving it for yourself?
No. The review things is actually we have not done that right now. Review is just related to your assignment only.
Okay.
So I'm not sending you my code and asking you to review my code currently. Okay, that is not related to this work right now. I'm sending this code to GitHub so that you can get it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go and do something with React now. Okay, is there something is still confused? Something you want to ask?
Yeah, we'll have to do it and we'll understand it better.
Yeah, please ask me. Okay, I'm here all the time so that I can answer some of your questions. So first try to do it yourself, then ask me directly. So now let me go to app.js, and here I want to do something. I will come back to these files or folders later. Now I will only work on app.js. Deleting everything from here. I need to at least create a component, create a React component for an app, and I need to return some JSX from here. This is empty React framework that's valid. Export default app. You can just work with me right now, okay, guys? This is really important things that we are talking about regarding React. We are talking about React right now. So we created a React component. We don't have any confusion, right? Until now, created a React component, right? So we'll see nothing here. Is that fine also? We are seeing nothing. You may ask me, hey, you have some files there, folders there, but you are saying you are seeing nothing. Yeah, we are seeing nothing because we haven't used them, right? We haven't used them because we need to link those things either with index.js or with app.js currently, because these two are only the files which are connected to index.html. Okay, guys, is this fine until now? So now we will introduce something called state in React. But before that, let me import React from React. So I'm writing React from React because React is already installed package inside node_modules. That's why you can import it directly on the top. So what is this React actually? Let me console log that React here. And let's see what is this React. And if I see on the console, React is nothing. What is this React? Can you tell me a type of, what is this? Is this a string or number or array or object or function? What is this?
I think it's
an object.
it's an object.
So can you say React is nothing but an object?
Yes.
Yeah, React is just an object actually. And inside that object, we have a lot of properties that we can use from React. This is how we will use React. So from React, we'll take something out. And there you'll see many things, right? You'll see something called children. This is really important. We'll talk about it. And we'll not use, yeah, there we also have components, but most of the time we'll use like we have something called strict mode here. We'll use this one from React. You have suspense here. We'll see this later. This is also important. So right nowadays we'll not use create element. This is less used. Clone element as well. This is used to clone something. But most of the time we'll use strict mode, suspense, and create ref here. This is also important. Lazy, memo. So this is start transition. This is introduced this year actually in React 18. So now here we have many things starting with this word called use, right? Use callback, use context, use debug value, use deferred value, use effect, use ID. Everything is starting with this word use. So can somebody tell me what are these things starting with the word use? Do they have their name?
Hooks.
Yeah, these are called hooks. Hook is nothing. What is this actually? Before going into hook, is this a React array? Sorry, is this a JavaScript array or function or object? What is this actually?
Function.
This is a function. Yeah, that's right. And hook is nothing but it is another name for JavaScript function. Now we have two names for JavaScript function. One is component. Sometimes we call it component when it is returning JSX, and sometimes we call it a hook. And we'll see why we are calling it a hook sometimes later. But hook is nothing but a JavaScript function. Okay, all of this letter starting, I'll call it hook. Okay, just remember hook. If their first word is starting with this letter called use. Use effect, use state. You can see use state here, most important one. Use transition. So these are all hooks. The most important hooks are use callback, use context, use effect, use ID, and use layout effect as well sometimes, use memo, use reducer, very important, use ref, use state. This is where we start from it. So this is really important. And use transition. We'll see those hooks. So this is the starting point into hooks, use state. Let's go and take it from React, because this is from React, right? React is object. So how can I take that out from React? Guys, can you tell me? How can I take some of the property from object out? What should I do?
By
Object
rendering
dot name.
What was that?
Object dot hook name.
Object dot hook name. Yeah, that is also possible. So I can write something like React dot here, dot, then use state. No, I can, this is React, then I'll write somewhere, let's say here, React dot use state. This is also possible. But there is a better way, right? To take something out directly from object. And what do we call it?
Where's the object there? It's a React. Do you mean React?
Yeah, this is object, right? We already saw this.
Okay, where and what properties does it have? What do you want to take it out?
Yeah, we want to take use state. Let's say we want to take any of them. This is fine for all of them, right? We can generalize as well. But we can take use state, we can take use ID, any of them will have the same pattern. Currently, we want to take use state out.
Is it gonna be address use state?
What was that?
Like an address use state, like annotations in Java?
I think I was expecting something else, which we talked about a lot previously.
Import use state from React.
Okay, import use state here. Here, right?
No. Import in the curly what is called curly bracket use state from React using object destructuring.
Yeah, object destructuring. Actually, I want you to actually call it destructuring. Let's destructure it. Okay, we talked about it already. So if you want to take some properties of object out, then we will destructure it. This is really important in React. We'll do all the time. So whenever you want to take some properties of object out, then you will destructure it. Let's destructure here and write use state. And this is object destructuring. We already saw in JavaScript, right? On the right, we wrote object, and on the left, we write something called object destructuring, and we destructure something here, right? Previously, this is similar to this destructuring.
So all these hooks are properties of React. So you want to take out to the user state right now. So you're using the similar syntax. Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
So we have this hook now. Hook is nothing but JavaScript function, but hook also have their own unique properties or unique. There are unique things regarding hooks. That's why we are calling it hooks, right? So let's see what are those unique things and what should we be careful while we are using hook. You go here in React.js documentation. For your starting point, this is official one from Facebook or Meta team. Let's go slightly down, and we have something called rules of hook here. And here you'll see, actually hooks are new addition in React 16.8. Actually, this was introduced in 2019 February. So before 2019 February, we don't have those things starting with the letter use. Those we don't have those things like use state, use effect, use context before 2019. Okay, so they were introduced in React 16.8. So currently, what is the version of React? It is 18.2. So yeah.
So we are learning the very latest version of JavaScript.
You can say React. Yeah.
Yeah, React. Yeah.
Very latest version of React, right?
Very good.
So. And before 2019 February, we don't have hooks. Then we used to have something called class at that time. We'll see how to deal with class as well sometimes later. But they were introduced in 2019 and they are mostly used nowadays. they have completely replaced this class. There is one or two things that you cannot do with hooks, and you need to actually use class. We'll see that later. But hooks can actually completely replace class, can completely replace this. You can also replace that one or two things as well. We'll see that one as well. But hooks are nothing but JavaScript functions. Yeah, it is saying React function. That's the same thing. And here are some rules that you need to actually consider before using hook. And what you need to actually consider is they are not like regular JavaScript functions, completely not like regular JavaScript functions. What it means is they are like, but you cannot treat it regular JavaScript functions. That's why you cannot actually call hooks from your JavaScript function. Let's see. What does that mean? So let's say that currently we have this hook, right? This is like a function. Let me try to, this is like a function means I can call it here, right? We can call a function, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we could, but not hooks.
Right. But there are some rules regarding hooks. Okay, you cannot do this here. So you cannot call your hooks before your component. After some import, you cannot call these hooks here. This is not a proper location. Also, you cannot call your hooks from your JavaScript function. You cannot call here. Let's try to call it. Let's save it now. Once again, same warning. This is not also possible. Don't call your hook from your JavaScript function. And don't directly call your hook here at this location. Then where is the location to call our hooks, call our function?
Inside the JSX?
Yeah, no, not inside JSX. Before JSX, before this return statement, after this callbacks. I told you that this is the location to write JavaScript previously, right? And this is also the location to write your hooks as well. This is one and only location actually. You can only write your hooks here and call it. Now this will work. You cannot do it here. This is not possible, okay? You can only write here. This is a strict rule you need to follow. Also, you cannot write your hooks inside if-else statement, something like if true, then only call this hook. I try to save it, now it will not work. Do not ever use your hook inside some conditional or inside some functions. Okay, you need to call your hook directly inside before return and after this call brace inside your component right here. All right, now we can write this hook here. This is the location. So that's why it says call hooks from React function component. This is a React function component, isn't it? And we are calling our hook from React function component. And we can call our hook somewhere else inside custom hooks as well, but it will not make some sense right now, but we'll see that later. You can actually create your own hook, something like use state. You can create something like use my name or use local storage, something like that. Your own hook.
Custom hooks.
Yeah, custom hooks. And you can now use React hooks inside your custom hooks as well. We'll see that later. But right now there is only one location that is here. You can use your hook. You cannot use your hook here as well inside JSX. If you write here, if you go inside JavaScript and try to use your hook here, it will not work. Okay.
So before return inside the curly in the functional component.
Correct. Any confusion, guys? Any question? So this is just, yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
This is just about rules of React hooks, rules of hooks, where you can use those hooks. Okay, this is all about rules. Now let's see what is this use state then. What is this actually? Why we should use it, right?
Yes.
So this is just a function. This is just a function, okay? Hook is just a function. Then let's see what is this giving us, okay? Function will have some return statement, isn't it?
Yes.
It does have some return statement. So let's print what is coming from that hook. Like console log and write it here. We are just console logging whatever coming from here. So it will print the return statement or expression, whatever return from this use state hook. We'll see that on the console. Let me save it. And now can you guys tell me what am I receiving from this use state hook? This is really important. Just watch it carefully and say what is coming from there.
Is it an array?
Yeah, it returns an array. This is really important. So your function may return anything, right? Your function may return a string, your function may return number, may return array, may also return a function itself. So this function is returning an array. This is the very most important part you need to remember. And another
So
thing.
use state returns an array. Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, use state returns an array, right?
Right. You can see it here. Yeah, it returns an array. And what are we receiving inside array then?
State.
Undefined and function.
Yeah, it means let's actually go in depth regarding use state and see what is this doing. It first returns an array. This is very important, and it will only return 2 elements inside array, right? 2 elements. Is it correct?
Looks like it.
Yeah. This is the first element, undefined, and this function is the second element. Okay, if you expand it here, this is a function, this is the second element, this is the first element, right? So use state will return an array, and it will return 2 elements inside that array, always, okay? It will always do that. It will not return 3 elements. Sorry, it will not have 3 elements inside that array. Okay, it will not only have first 1 element, it will always have 2 elements. Okay, we have 2 important things here. First, use state returns an array, and it returns 2 elements. Once again, let's go in depth. So what are the types of the elements that are returned inside that array? Can you say?
Undefined and function.
Undefined, something like undefined, and second is function. Okay, this is also important. It will return something here. Let's not care about this one, undefined, right now. It will always return a function. It will always have a function inside that array, which is the second element, always. Okay, it will always have function, but it can have anything here. This is a value actually. Let me pass 10 here, and let me save it, and it will have 10. Okay, let me pass hello here and save it. Now it will have hello. So this is the initial value. Whatever I'm passing here will be here as a first element. Okay, I can also pass a function here. I can also pass a function here. Now, what happens? Save it. Now it has undefined, not returning anything from this function. It is not returning anything. So yeah. So if I return something here like 0, now it is returning 0. So 0 is returned from this function. That's why I have 0 here. It means the first part is changing, right? The type is also changing. I can also pass array here as well. Let me see. Just need to close the outer one, and I can pass 1, 2, 3, 4. This is array now. It will give me array inside array. Now the first element is array. The second element is always a function. So guys, can you tell me now, how can I now take that out and put it in some variable? Put that first element in some variable, second element in some other variable. What is that wrong? What should I do for that? What is the concept that I need to use here?
Destructuring?
Yeah, we'll destructure our array. So we'll destructure our array means on the right we have array, right? On the left we will put it in some variable. The structure array, this is the syntax, right? And I can write A and B. So what is this A and B then? What is this
One
A
and
whole? If I print A, what will I see then in A?
One.
Only one? I think you went one step down.
Oh, the whole array? No.
Yeah,
whole array.
Right.
Whole array, because the second element is a function, and the first element is whatever value you set in that user state. So
Right.
array is the first element, so it will take out just the first element, that is an array, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Whatever you have here will come into this A variable, that is array itself. That's why we are seeing. If you have 0 there, only 0 number, then we'll have 0, right? That is the first element of that array. This is array actually, itself array. And you can pass array inside array as well. This is possible, right? That's why we are saying A on, 1 to array on this variable A. Is this fine, guys? Are you, I think you are not getting whatever I'm saying here.
User state is a function itself, right? And it gives an array output, right, in the console, which consists of two elements. First is the value whatever, and the second is the function itself. And you're destructuring that user state like you're just trying to take out the only part, the first element, by destructuring. That's what I understand. Might be correct.
Whatever you have here will be received in variable A. Whatever actually in variable B, you will always receive a function. Okay, it is automatically coming from React. So this whole part here is providing you an array consisting of first element your value and the second element a function. Okay, let me pass empty value initially. Now empty value will come in A. In real world, in React, actually, you will not write A and B. You'll write something like state here. Okay, state. And this is the second element that you are receiving inside B, which is a function, right? This is called state updating function. So this is state itself. This is a state value. And the second function is called state updating function. And there is a convention which is followed by all the developers. You'll write that state updating function in this pattern. Instead of writing B, you write state. This is just a pattern, okay? This is just a convention followed by a developer. Now this is nothing. State is, what is the state currently? What is the value of the state?
Empty.
It is empty, right? It is empty. And what is this set state?
Function.
The function. So this also has some one rule. I cannot use it here directly. It will actually provide it will go and into infinite loop actually, and you'll see something like it
Can
actually.
I do console log set state, you mean?
Yeah, console log set state will not actually give you something that you want. Actually, you cannot use it here. We'll see about set state, but let me try to do that as well. If I save it now, I refresh it. A lot of undefined, right? A lot of. It goes in infinite loop actually. And it breaks, browser actually breaks this, preventing this browser from crashing. So that's how we can use it. We'll see that where can we use it actually. But let's see what is this, what is this state actually? What can we store there? State is actually just a variable, you can say JavaScript variable. And you can store anything inside JavaScript variable. You can store that here as well. You can write the initial value high, and this is the value that you are saying. Now you can, instead of writing in console log, directly print here inside JSX as well, right? Right?
Yeah.
So let me do it in h1 tag instead. H1 here and H1 here as well. So this is a state. So this is a state updating function. I told you we cannot use directly here because what happens is when this state updating function is running, it will now call this component once again. Call means render this component once again. It will run this component once again. Whenever this is running, it will run the whole component once again. So what happens, just see carefully. I'm writing set state here. Whenever this is running, it will run this whole component. Means, let's say that line number 6 is running now. Now it will start running this component from line number 3. It reaches to line number 6. Once again, it goes to line number 3. It reaches to line number 6, goes to line number 3. It is actually going in infinite loop, right? From this line to this line. So it means whenever this set state function is running, it will render this component once again, and we call this re-rendering our component. Okay, we will re-render our component with the help of this set state function. Means we will run this component once again whenever this function is running. That's why I cannot place this here because it will go in infinite loop. I need to only execute this function for few times, maybe 1 or 2 times, if I want to re-render this component. That's why I cannot place this here. Let's place this in some function. Function render, let's say. Okay, now I can place this here. This will never execute, like this function will never execute because I haven't called this function. Now it will be prevented from that infinitely. Now, guys, just tell me, can I call this function only once? What I mean only once is, yeah, you can call this by writing this, right? Only once. But if I re-render it, it will go here and go here, go here, go here. It will now go in infinite loop once again. What I am asking to you is there any way? Do I have something called JavaScript events, something like that, which I can interact and call this function only once? I just want to call this function only once.
I think if you pass empty array after that, then like it will just render once, right?
Yeah.
I think
in theory.
Sorry?
yeah, there's an event called onClick on something. Are you talking about those?
Right. Yeah, something like onClick. But currently, if I save it, nothing is happening. Let me refresh. Yeah, it is going in infinite loop and crashing this application. So actually, React is preventing this from crashing. So once again, this is going in infinite loop. Are you understanding it, guys? Why is this going in infinite loop?
Line number 6 you have added to stop re-rendering from the line number 3, right? Again and again.
Right. But
and it's still, when you add this one, it's still again going round and round, that rendering process.
Right.
So what's the point of adding line number 6 now?
Yeah, there is no point currently. Adding this line here is not actually solving our problem. This is same as writing this code here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not solving it. But we are trying to actually. Okay. So currently it is going in infinite loop. What we want to do is we only want to run this component, this function once. Okay, from some event. Currently what is happening is this line number 10 is calling this function. Once this function is called, it will start executing from line number 4. Okay, it will go in line number 5. This will not be executed, go in line number 9. It's a once again function call. Once again this will be called. It is seeing now set state. Once again it will go to line number 4.
5, 9, 10. Once again, this function will be called, and it will go in line number 7. Once again, line number 4. This is actually going in infinite loop over and again. That's why we will not call this function from here. We will call this function only when some JavaScript event happens. So what is that JavaScript event then? Okay, so I'm clicking here currently, right, in this button, and something is opened here on the new tab. This is one event actually. This is one event. This is a click event. I clicked here, right? I clicked here and something is opened here on the new tab. There is a button here, you can see. When I click this button, what will happen is it is going to insert something. Okay, something like date. Let's see. Click here and it has inserted the date. So whenever I click here on this button, it is going to actually execute whatever I am writing here. Only when I click here, okay? Otherwise it will not execute. So when I click here, it will execute whatever written inside on click. So then we can actually implement the same case here in our code, and we can actually have that click event as well, because when we are not clicking, then it will not go in infinite loop, right? It means I can now have that click event here. You saw click event is attached in this way, but actually we need to use camel case notation all the time in React. That's why it will be on click, C capital, okay? You need to remember that. In JavaScript, it is C small without React. In React with JSX, it is C capital here. Okay, in HTML, we used to write this line. Here in React, we'll write in camel case. So on click, let me comment this one for now. I'll get back to that. So on click, what I want to do is when I'm clicking there, I need to go inside curly brace. Why? Because I am going to write some JavaScript here. So on click, I will create a function and I will write function console log. I am running on click. Let me save this. Okay, so currently this function is not running. Whatever I am writing here with inside h1 tag, this is not running. So now I'm going to click where on this h1 tag. H1 tag is here. Okay, so watch it carefully. I'm clicking here. Can you see? Whenever I'm clicking on that h1 tag, this function is executing here. Whenever I'm clicking here, right? You can have a button as well instead of that h1 tag. That's same. Now, whenever I click on that button, now that function will execute. Now let's grab that function from here, take this out and put somewhere here. Now I need to have the name. This is click handler, something like that. You can have any name here. And let me put this name here. And let me save it once again. This is the same thing. Whenever I click here, this function is going to execute whenever I click. So it means now I can put this down here and activate it. Now, if I save it now, it will not go in infinite loop, because whenever I'm clicking, only at that time this function is executing. Click here, it says I'm running on click. Something happens here. We'll try to fix that. But now it is preventing us from going in that infinite loop.
You did several steps. I'm right now confused. What that you have done?
I didn't do that much more thing here. I just wrote a function here. So what is this function called? What type of function is this, guys?
On click handler.
Click handler, but what type of function is this? We used it previously with map method as well.
Event handler.
Event handler as well, and another name as well.
Forgot the name. It's called literal swing function and something else in JSX. I forgot the name.
Yeah, we wrote inside map method with array. If you remember, this is one function inside another function, something like that. Or this function is automatically called when we are clicking. We are not writing, we are not calling it here ourselves, right? In the code itself.
Temp literal or something like that. And no.
Callback function.
Mixed up callback function.
Forget that callback function, right? It is called callback function, isn't it? So it is also an event handler function as well, because we are calling it when event execute, when event is fired. But this is like a callback function as well. We are not calling it directly, right? Here, we need to only reference the name. Now, whenever I click here, it will be called. This is only what I did. I wrote a function inside here, and whenever I click here, this function will execute now. Okay, because here I am writing on click. If I write something else randomly, it will not work. It will not work now. I need to exactly write on click there. Okay. This is predefined event in JavaScript actually. That's why you need to use it. So I'm clicking here and this function is running. This is event in JavaScript and we are actually writing a function for event.
Okay, initially you had a problem that it will re-render infinite times and it will crash, right? In order to solve that issue, that problem, you added another function there, like a click handler. That will stop it happening.
Correct. And where did I use that?
In the function itself, or where the render was?
Inside event, inside this event. This is an event actually. On click event. We have many events in JavaScript. Let's see.
Initially, in the click handler, there was a render function. Right here on line number 9.
Yeah, you can use that render function. That doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter, right? You can just and put this above here, and instead of writing a click handler, it render here. It will work. Just a function, right? Doesn't matter with the name. What I'm trying to say is you need to use this on click. You have many events in JavaScript. If you search events in JavaScript,
on click will let function act. Okay, act when I click it, something like that.
Yeah, you read here. It is the same thing that you are saying, right?
Render when I click it once. Does it say once or many times?
Yeah, if you click many times, it will execute many times.
Okay, so on click simply tells one time, render one time.
Yeah, if you just click on that button once, it will execute that function once.
Okay.
We also have something called on change. Also important, we'll use that later. These two are frequently used. We'll see those events later. There are other events as well. You can try it out. These are predefined event. We need to use exact same name.
On change.
Yeah, guys, can we take some break and continue this session then?
Maybe I troubled you a lot.
No.
Yes.
You want to have break?
Yeah, I actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to ask me something before going into break?
That's okay. We can have break. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to talk about this. Actually, it will take some time.
Okay. Yeah, these are the foundations. Unless you understand all of this, the other things will not make sense.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back. Do you want 5 minutes or 10 minutes, guys?
10 minutes is fine.
10 minutes.
Okay, you want long break. Okay, thank you. Yeah, hello everyone. I think our countdown is over. Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So let's continue then. We have something more to deal with. This state is quite confusing for beginners actually, because it has some rule, right? We cannot use this function directly here. It needs to be used somewhere which will execute for limited amount of time. Limited amount of time means this function will only execute whenever I click here, right? Something is happening with this.
Sharing your screen.
Oh, am I not? Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, actually, we need to talk about this state, this set state function. Something is happening here actually. So what is that actually? Let's see. I told you guys, it will execute once again, right? Whenever I click here, whenever I click on this button, it will once again execute this whole function, you can say, whole component as well. It will execute once. This is most of the time referred as it will re-render the component once again. So let me once again write console log here, running after so running before use state call. So this is running before use state call. Let's see what is happening. Let's try to debug this and everything. Running after use state call, and let me write one console log in here as well. This is like running inside render function, and okay, and let me write one console log inside JSX as well. We can write console log inside JSX as well. I need to go inside here and write, oh, I need to write state here somewhere and write console log here. Console log running inside JSX. Okay. Now you will understand what is happening here. Let me say it. So we are seeing running before use state call initially, and then running after use state call. This one running inside JSX. Is this fine? Initially, we will see only 1, 2, 3 consoles out of 4 console logs. Is this fine, guys? Why are we not seeing that running inside render console log?
You have not clicked that button yet.
Yeah, this will never execute itself, right? It is a callback function, and once again, it is a function with it attached to event. That's why you can say it is a handler function. Handler. We are handling it, right? We are handling it. We need to click here in order to call this code. That's why initially this is not running. Now, watch what happens when I click here. Something is really important here, okay? When I click here, currently this is executing until this line, okay? Let me highlight this one. And when I click here on this button, okay, now what is happening, guys? It should only print this, right? It should only execute this function, but what happens? Can you see? Can you see here? Can somebody explain what is happening here? Why am I seeing running inside? Yeah, this is fine, running inside render function. Why am I seeing this line, and this line once again? I think you can guess at least. Doesn't matter what
It
you say
rendered
here.
the whole thing, like
Yeah.
I started from the first console log.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
Why is that actually? Can you just
because of
guess what
line
it?
number 11.
Yeah, line number 11. And what type of function is this? It is a state updating function. State updating means it will update this state, this variable. Whenever this is actually running, it will update this variable. And it will re-execute this function from top to bottom once again. That's why you are seeing something is running from line number 4 all the way to line number 24, because the line on line number 4 is running before use state call, right? And it is also executing this JSX. That's why you are seeing running inside JSX as well.
So what
Now,
do you
what
do
will
different
happen?
from last time? I didn't see any different.
There is one difference if you see. Can you just try to see the difference on the output? There is one difference actually. On the browser.
Oh yeah, instead of high, it's no high anymore.
Yeah, nothing is there, right? That is actually the major difference. I told you that this is a state updating function, right? Isn't it?
So what did you change? Can you do Control Z?
I did nothing actually.
So before you were showing us something else, the output, the console log was different.
Oh, this time? Yeah, I
before it
added
was
this console logs. I added this console log here on line number 4, on line number 7, and line number 21. I added this console log so that I can see whether they are running or not.
So when you ran it the first time, it was only showing 3 outputs, right? You ran it again and it showed 6?
Correct, yeah.
Just
only 3. Now they are showing 4.
4.
Yeah, why is that? Because first this function will execute, that's why this is the first line, right? This one immediately, right? Immediately after that. And why this is coming? Because it will now execute this line number 11. Line number 11 means this is a state updating function, means everything will now start executing from top. Line number 4, line number 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way down to line number 24. Whenever it sees this function, set state function, whenever your component is actually running this function, it will start executing from top to bottom. It is called re-rendering component once again.
So what happened to that high string then now?
Yeah, this is where we are going now. What happens actually? Where is that high going? Where has it gone?
It's back again.
Told you. Yeah, I refreshed it. When I click here, I refreshed it from start, right? Now when I click it,
when
this
you
is
click
like,
it, okay.
Yeah, this is like opening your website first. This, when I click it, it goes now, goes away. This is because of this line number 11. I told you this is a state updating function. So which state is updated by this function actually? What is the state? State is just a variable which is inside that array, right?
It on line number 5.
Yeah, it updated this variable, Now we need to send something from here to update this variable. Now let's see what is the value here as well, right? Now let's see the value of the state. Console log, and I am going to write value of state, state. I'll print the value of state here. Let me run it from start. Can you see the value of state is high here, right? Initially. Now let me click here and let's see what will the value of state is going to be. Click here. Now what is the value of state?
Undefined.
This is undefined. That's why you are seeing nothing here. Previously it was high, now it is undefined. That's why nothing is here. Now you need to send that value from here. Actually, we are sending nothing, right? We are sending nothing. That's why by default it will return undefined. Your function will return undefined. That's why you are seeing undefined there.
So
now
inside that, okay, inside that
Yeah.
state there is nothing. That's why it's not showing anything.
Undefined, yeah. If I now send hello here, now once again I'm saving, I'm starting from start. refresh it once again. Now what will happen if I click here?
It will print hello.
Button will change to
Yeah, it will print hello, hi to hello. Yeah.
Instead of
This is what is happening here. We are sending the value of state. This is the initial one. This is the initial. Now we are sending hello here. Okay.
Okay.
This is about.
But when you send
rendering.
empty, when you're saying it's gonna run from the top.
Right. It is.
When you send empty, doesn't it take inside line number 5, whatever it is?
Repeat again, please. What was that?
So when you click on hi, you said it's
okay.
gonna run it. Okay, when you click on render, it goes here, it gets set state, and then it runs from line 3 again, right?
Always, yeah.
Or line
Always
4
it
again.
goes on line number 4, yeah.
And then doesn't it automatically take hi if it's?
No, that is the initial value. It will only take once at first.
Okay.
Okay. This is the initial. That's why I'm saying initial. It will not take that value later.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, your question is also correct. If I am sending hello and it is starting from here, why it is not taking this one? This is initial. That's why React knows it is the initial one. It will not take later.
Oh, state will function will tell, oh, that is initial, don't take it. This is the recent one. Take this.
Yeah,
one.
there is another one coming from here actually. Yeah.
Okay, it will automatically replace those ones.
Yeah, it also knows it is re-rendering as well. That's why it will take only from here. Whenever it is re-rendering, it will take the value sending from. It is sent from here, whatever sent from here. Okay. Once again, if I click here, yeah.
Can you
explain
line number 23? Like, I'm so confused.
This one?
Yeah.
This one is just a variable, right? State variable. This can be anything, right? It can be greeting.
Okay.
And yeah, this may be set greeting. You can write any name here, but convention is write greeting and set whatever the state.
Yeah.
Set greeting. Yeah, this is just a convention. Now we will print greeting here. This is just a variable here. It is now updating, right? Previously it was hi. Now it will become hello. That's why it is also changing. That's why you are seeing hello and hi and hello there. Okay, what happens? I think here is I need to change somewhere. State is not defined. I have used state here. I need to replace that state to greeting now. Okay, once again, do I have some state somewhere else? It is complaining me. What's the problem? Oh, use state is called in a function render that is neither React component. Okay. Oh,
Line number 30.
Where is this coming from here? Did I? This is not correct, right? What I did, I don't know. Oh, I think I mistakenly pasted that. I need to write it. Copy. I need to only copy this one here. Yeah. That was mistake from this. Sorry. I need to just paste greeting here and greeting here. Okay, now it is working. Okay, when I click hi, it will become hello. Now, once again, when I click hello, it will become hello. That's why it is not changing, right? Once again, it is re-rendering from top to bottom. Now watch it carefully. When I now once again click hello, it is not re-rendering. What happens here now? I told you whenever that state updating function is running, it will re-render from top to bottom, right? It is doing so on first and second call, but not on the third call. Can you guess why is that?
Can you say it again?
I told you whenever I click here, right, this function will execute, right?
Yeah.
Is that fine? And it execute and line number 12 will also execute, right?
Yeah.
And whenever this is called state updating function, right?
Yeah.
And whenever this state updating function is running, it will run your code from line number 4 all the way to line number 25, correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Then why is it not running from line number 4 to line number 25 when I am now clicking here? It is not running that these things. Previously they were running, right? It is only running this code only, this line only, line number 11. It is not re-rendering, you can say.
Oh.
Let's see once again. When I click at first, everything is fine, running from line number 4 all the way down. Okay. When I once again click here, everything fine, running from line number 4 to line number 25. But now when I click here, it is only running this line number 11. It is now not re-rendering. Can you guess why?
Because nothing had changed in them.
My guess is
close, yeah.
that's
Yeah, nothing had changed. That's right. Why should I run, right? Because
yeah.
I ran it and you are changing that hi to hello. That's why I ran it once again. Now you are sending hello all the time. Why should I re-render it, right? Nothing will change right here. It is always hello. That's why React shouldn't re-render it all the time. No, it doesn't make any sense. There is nothing to re-render. That's why it will internally check between previous render and the current render. That is called virtual DOM in React. We have our one DOM in Java, one DOM of the browser, and React has its own virtual DOM. And it will compare the changes from previous one to the current one. And if there is no change, that's why it shouldn't run. It is stopping. That's why it is not running. React is handling this internally, actually. Okay. Are you guys getting, all of you, what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Set greeting is a state updating function. So even if you hit hello, click hello again, it will not see any changes in the above except the last one. That's why. Which one did it change it? Line number 3. Is it from coming from the? I understand what you're saying, but which one is printing at the after this? The last running inside render, is
this one,
11.
right? Line number 11. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only line number. This is not running actually, line number 12. Because it knows, React knows. React previously called it and it checked it, right? It checked it from here and here. These two calls. Previously same. Once again, it is same. So why should I call this now? That's why React is now not actually
why is
calling
it
this
printing
function.
then the last one then? Why? Because almost these are all same.
No, the function will run all the time, right? Function will run. Function is like a JavaScript function. Whenever you call here, whenever you click here, it will run. This is not a part of React. Only this is a part of React. This state updating function. That's why it will not run. This is just a JavaScript function. It will run how many times you click here.
You're just writing to check whether it went through this.
Whether it is clicked or not. Yeah. Yeah, it will perform the check. That's right.
All right.
Yeah, this is about state in React. State is updating and not updating sometimes. You know when it is updating. When actually you can say component is rendering and not rendering sometimes. You know when it is rendering because whenever the state changes, component will re-render. Whenever your state is not changing, it will not re-render. That's the whole thing about it. All right. So yeah, you can have a random number here. Can I generate some random number? You know how to generate random number in JavaScript, guys? Something like math.random. Can I use it? Have you? Let me go here. Yeah, actually capital M. Yeah, you can use something like math.random. This will generate a random number each and every time. And let me try to use it here, okay? And you can say this is a number. let me go all the way down and number. Oh, sorry. This is like number. And this is set number. And initially that is 0. Let's say. Isn't every time whenever I'm clicking there, it will randomly provide me a number. Now let's see what happens here. What will happen here? I'm clicking here. Can you see this is a random number generated by this line of code? Now random number means each and every time it will generate a new number, right? Unique number, right? Or you can say randomly generated number. New number you can say. So whenever it is generating a new number, then every time it will re-render from line number 4 all the way to line number 25. Here you can see it is providing all of those console logs each and every time when I'm clicking here, because each and every time it is generating that random number which is different from the previous one. That's why it is running this code from line number 4 to here. All right. This is just an example, guys. Are you feeling some confusion about this one?
No.
I'm just trying to show you whenever something is changing each and every time, it will re-render each and every time. That's why it is re-rendering each and every time. You can see many re-renders are happening here. All right, so let me commit this one. You can ask me if you have something. Yeah, just ask me, okay? Anything is.
I was Googling why are hooks are called hooks in React.
Hooks means something like a hook. Okay, we'll see a practical example of hook later when we are creating custom hook. Then it will make more sense.
It lets you hook into the feature inside the class without touching the class, like without a class. Without writing class, you can go ahead. Like hooks lets you pick the fish out of your pond, right? Like pond is like a class.
Exactly.
That's why I call them hooks.
Yeah, you can hook up a state later. We'll see how to hook up a state.
Yeah.
I'm sending everything to my one repository currently, guys. You can get it from there.
So what is a state?
State is
what is in the DOM?
No, a state is just, yeah, you can say that as well, but yeah, if you understand it pretty well, but a state is just a variable, right? Which is storing some value dynamically, which are changing dynamically. So, and yeah,
any
state
change
is
you
just,
make that's a
and that change should be made from here. Only this is acceptable. Only the state updating function will change the state. You will not do something like this, number equals to 10, right? You will not change this state from here. This state will be changed currently, okay? Later we'll see states are changing from somewhere else as well, but currently you can only change this state from this state updating function. Okay. Later your API can also change your state value, and we will need to use always state updating function to change the value. We'll pass this value here, but we'll need to use this state updating function all the time. Okay, yeah. This is all about state in React. So yeah, I think you understood, right, guys? Do you have some confusion? I think you need some practice yourself as well. Maybe, but yeah. if you want to ask me something, then you can ask me. Okay, this is really important in React. This is the starting point in React, state in React, because state is updating something here, and we can see that change here directly on the browser. When I click here, it's and every time it is generating new things. Means this is important because we want to show something in the browser to the user later. This is the whole point, right? So that's why you need to understand what is happening here with the state. The state, whenever state is changing from state updating function, your whole component will re-render and you will see the change here. And you need to know when this is not re-rendering as well. When this state is not changing at all, this will not re-render. So there is another location where you can use this state updating function instead of using it here. That's why we will use another hook from React. There is another hook similar to similar name like use state hook. There is something called use effect hook. This is another hook in React. This is really important one. We will use effect hook to call our APIs later. But this is what we can also use. Instead of writing this function, now we can use effect hook. Let me use this use effect hook here. This is the proper location, right, guys? Can I write use effect here as well? Is this a valid location to call a hook?
I'm sorry.
This is also valid. Is this a valid location to write a hook? Can I write hook here?
It should be within the curly of the main component, right?
Yeah, it is within curly braces starting from here, ending to line number 20.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, looks fine.
But I cannot write inside here. It should be before return statement, after curly brace. That's why I can write it here. But better to use your hook at the top, okay? Immediately after your curly brace. This is actually a better way of writing hook. Now, this is use effect hook. Use effect hook will accept callback function. Now you need to understand this line. So if I let me tell you once again, use effect will accept a callback function. Do you understand what I am saying from this line? So what should I write here?
Open close bracket again. Oh no, the name of function.
Yeah, the callback function means function, right? It will accept a function without a name, right?
Without
because
a name, yeah.
Use effect will itself actually execute that function. So can I write this? Is this fine?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then let me go here and put this set number inside this function instead of putting it here. Now I'm going to remove it from here, remove this handler as well. And I'm going to run it, watch it carefully what happens. Let me remove this one from here as well. Once again, it is going in infinite loop. You can see here, running over and over again. Each and every time it is printing this random number. So because it is going in infinite loop, that's why I need to prevent it at least. Let me comment it here and rename it, okay? Printing that number each and every time, not stopping me. Oh, now it is working, I think. Okay. So there I need to do one more thing. So if I do it right now, then it is once again going in infinite loop. That's why what I need to do is this is a first argument that I am passing inside this use effect hook. That is a first argument. I need to pass two arguments here. The second argument will be some dependency array, an array which is storing some dependency values. For now, what you need to understand is just write empty array as a second argument, which will prevent it from going into that infinite loop, and it will only execute this use effect hook once itself, okay? Itself, React will execute itself. This is also important. And at the end as well, this is also important. A lot of things are happening here. Let's see. Let me save it. And oh, where is that? Let me activate this one. Let me save it. I'm getting random number immediately. Is an every refresh. So what is happening then? Let's see. This use effect hook, I told you guys, it will execute at the end, always at the end. End means when this everything is completed within this app component. When line number 1 execute, line number 14 executed, then it will execute at the end. Okay, let me write console logs here. Running use effect hook. So this use effect hook is running now. I refresh it once. You can see use effect hook here.
So how do we justify the reason why use effect hook has to work at the end of the everything, right?
Yeah,
So it's in the
that is
middle.
important.
Why is it need to work at the end? Is there any purpose?
Yeah, we'll see the benefits later, but you can just think about it like it is how it is made. So it is created to be executed at the end always.
So what
but there are many benefits.
Does it stop something or?
No, it will simply execute whatever you are writing here at the
Okay.
end. Let's see. At the end means, let me have many console logs here now. So log here and after this one as well, somewhere after this use effect as well, and let me write running after app. This is like running after use state call.
Yeah.
And this is inside hook, and this is running after. And let's see the sequence. And which one will you see in order? Can you just guess what will be the order?
Running after first, and then second running use state second, and then that will print running after use effect hook.
No, you can just tell me the line number. Okay, which line number? Line number 4,
7, 14, 10.
Line number 4, 7, and 14, and 10 last.
Let's see. Let me refresh it. Oh, what is happening here? 4, 7, 14, 10. Once again, 4, 7, 14. Once again, something is happening. Now you can guess why that is once again.
The set number.
Yes, set number. Set number will update this state. That's why that will execute once again. That's why once again we are seeing the same line execution. Okay, if you don't have this line here, then you will not see. Let me refresh it. Now you are only seeing then 4, 7, 14, 10. Because there is a state updating function that will actually execute your code, re-render your component from line number 4 all the way to line number 10, 20 once again. That's why you are seeing that line number 4, 7, 14 once again. It will not go inside use effect hook because we have that empty dependency here. That's why it will only execute this use effect once at the end. So what is the benefit now? What is the benefit of executing it, adding this use effect here at the end?
It will render all the values on the variables, right? In the end.
Right. Yeah. It will just give you the value as well, right? Random value as well itself, right? We don't need to click somewhere. It is giving you automatically.
Yeah. It will do all the DOM elements and then get the values.
Get the values, yeah, right. And this is important. This is where we will get our value from database, from API actually, at this location. Currently, I'm sending value myself, right? Random value, right? And at this location, we will call our API. And let's do that work tomorrow, I think. And we will do those things. We will call our API at this location. API means which function we are going to use to call our API.
Fetch.
Yeah, fetch. We will use fetch inside here. Fetch, and we'll pass. You can try it yourself. At least you can pass some URL here. Just write your full URL here, and you need to make it something like a shrink await function. And finally we will pass our value here. Do you think you can try it yourself? Or do you want to see your API as well?
Let's see. Right now, if you are.
Yeah, let's just see one example then, okay? So what is the API then? Which API do you want to use? Let's search for some API. There is a repository, GitHub, public API. A lot of APIs are there, guys. You can go there and grab one of them. I just want something random. Let's go and see something regarding vehicle. I don't know any of them. Let's go to this helipad site, I think. Picking up randomly, okay? I don't know what is there.
Kelly Blue Book. Very frequent.
Which one? Which one do you want?
Kelly Blue Book. I used to use whenever I was thinking of buying a car, used car, and that was the best place to compare the value.
Oh, let's go there then. Okay.
Okay. Kelly Blue Book.
Okay, and it says there may be some documentation. Here you can see API documentation. And getting API, how do I obtain credential? I think you need some credentials here. Let's see. I don't want to have those credentials. If it is asking for the credential, yeah. If possible,
you can just.
No, you want to access the API. API means their database, right? We want to deal with their database. If you want to access their database, means there may be some authentication required. Okay, so maybe we'll see later if it is available. Sometimes credentials are free, but you need to create some account there and obtain that API access key, and that I don't want to do right now. I want to just
use the free one then.
Take some free one. Let's go Breaking Bad, I think. Yeah. Oh, Breaking Bad API. I think you guys have watched it, right?
Breaking
Bad series. It is. Oh, here we have Death API. Maybe it will provide you all the death that happened in Breaking Bad. Let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah. First one is Spring. Let's go and see. Maybe I need to install that extension JSON placeholder.
What
JSON.
are these are deaths? Deaths of dead person's name?
Deaths of the characters in Breaking Bad. Have you watched Breaking Bad series?
Nope.
Yeah. Otherwise, you will not
behind in the seeing movie. I don't update myself. I'll just update political news. That's it.
The really popular one, actually.
Not even game.
Okay. Sorry, not JSON placeholder, JSON formatter. Sorry for that. JSON formatter. That is a Google Chrome extension. I think this one is that one. Let's go and install it. Yeah, you can do the same. Okay, and add it to Chrome. Add extension, and I can now go here, refresh it. It will give me a nice formatted API output here. Okay, this is the first death, guys. Oh, only 40 deaths. I think there is a limit in there maybe. Yeah, here are 40 counts. Death count actually in Breaking Bad. Now I can use this API in my application. Let's go there.
So it's their database. You just pull it out in JSON.
Yeah, this is freely accessible. That's why I can just access it through this URL. This is called API actually. Whenever you can access some data from your database from some URL, that is called API.
Okay. Now API. What the API is, I am clear.
Yeah, you are clear.
Yeah. Okay. Active pharmaceutical ingredients. I used to, drug has some, like there are capsule inside that capsule. There is some active ingredient that is also called API, and I was not confused what that means and what this API means. It's all literally same thing. You're getting the main database from out of their website. So the pharmaceutical API also same thing. You're needing an active chemical or a drug that wrap inside other matrices. Yeah, it's the same thing. I always make a comparison, then understand it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you can make a comparison with the real world things. But it needs to provide you that URL, otherwise you cannot access. You need to have the permission to access it through that URL,
Yeah,
through that
Log
address.
API also you cannot get it until you do certain tests to get whether you have that API or not.
Yeah.
You can get it easily. You have to
Sometimes
process
certain
the
persons are only
Yeah.
authorized, right?
Yeah,
At that time, you need to provide your credential, password, username, password.
Yeah.
That is access token. Later we'll see that. So here I can paste that URL, and I cannot do directly here. Let me create one function, maybe outside this use effect or inside use effect. Let me directly create here function. So this is get deaths from this Breaking Bad series, and let me put it in some variable, deaths variable. And what should I do here, guys? Can you help me now?
Await.
Make it async.
Yeah, first I need to write sync here, a sync here, and await here. Await here. Now, I haven't called this function, right? Let me call this here directly right here. Or I have actually, did I tell you about immediately invoked function expression? Yeah, you can call this function immediately without actually calling it from somewhere else, right? What you need to do is wrap it here inside parentheses, call it directly here.
Yeah.
Right? You can do this, right? Immediately invoked function expression. Let's see on console we have that deaths or not. We'll not have the deaths immediately. We need to do something more here, right? It will just give you JSON data. What should we do, guys? We need to write one more variable. Now here you will have deaths. Await, and you need to convert it to JavaScript object, because JSON will by default, the JSON will be received here. You need to convert this to JavaScript object. Now you have deaths here. Let me save it and refresh it. 65 deaths are coming, I think. Means 65 data are coming, yeah. And we know here all this, and here the cause of death, who is date, right? Yeah, date ID. Which episode is it coming from? The last word of death is also here, guys. And yeah, so who is responsible to kill this person actually is also here. This is Walter White, right? So yeah, this is how we get it here. I'm printing directly on the console instead of printing in the console. What I now can do is use this state updating function right here and put this deaths inside here. Now they are available in this numbers. I can say death numbers here as well, or deaths here as well. Now if I print this in the console, initially that will be 0. Later that will be actually providing you the actual data. I have something wrong here. Okay, something is not correct, because I cannot now directly print this number here, because number is object. I cannot print that object here directly, because you saw, right? This is object, right? You cannot write object here directly. What you can write is object dot, this is array. Once again, inside that object we have array. So what you can do is you can go inside. Actually, this is not object. This is array, right? You cannot write array here. What you can at least do is, if there is number, short circuited. If there is number, this is like if else condition as well. Now I want to go inside the first character, and from that first character I want to find the death. Let's see what happens here. Now this is the first character who is dead in Breaking Bad series. Means this is the first API result, you can say, instead of, yeah. This is how we deal with API actually. Yeah, you need to practice it yourself, guys, first. Then just ask me a lot of questions. Tomorrow, we'll actually start exploring many things from here. This is really important. Okay? If you can do this, then you can do many things in React. We are dealing with API now.
Can you explain number 23, what you're doing again?
This is short circuiting, right? So what is this number initially?
Boolean.
No, it is, what is the value of number initially?
Oh, an array.
Initially it is 0, right? This is the initial value.
You state 0, okay.
Initially it is 0.
Where
That's
is
why
that 0?
This is 0. It will short circuit right here, right?
Zero, yeah. Okay. You state is 0. Initial value is 0. Okay.
This is short circuiting operator. So will it go here to the second line? Sorry, second expression for AND operator? If it is 0.
You said it's short circuited, so no.
Short circuit means what will happen here?
It will short circuit on the first one.
First one, and value will be 0 initially. Want to see it? Let me make it really slow. Let's see. I can go in network, and maybe in throttling I can go to slow connection, slow 3G. Let me refresh this one. Initially you will see 0 there. Nothing, 0. And after some time we have that value coming from API. That's why initially it was short circuited. That's why we are seeing 0. And if we have value, then it will not short circuit here, right? It will go here. That's why we are seeing the second thing after we are getting some data. We are dynamically printing. You can instead of writing this one, you can write something like, if you have number, if you can write X ternary operator, right? If there is number which is not 0, at that time you will actually print this statement, else print 0. Same thing. Implementation is different. This is the same thing.
I'm not understanding why you're doing that.
Because we need to actually print this value coming from API. This will not come immediately, right? This is asynchronous operation. This will take some time. Initially, it will not be there.
Okay.
Right? If I directly print this without comparing, what will happen? It will throw you error actually. Let's go and see on the console. Let me refresh it now. Oh, it is a slow 3G, that's why it's taking some time. Need to make it fast a little bit. Let me go and make it no throttling. And now it will give you error. Can you see what is happening? It is coming from line number 24. Actually, it says cannot read properties of undefined. What is number, guys, initially?
0.
0. And can you treat that 0 like an array? You are treating 0 like an array. You cannot do that. That's why I'm preventing that operation to be happen initially. It will be performed initially. That's why I'm stopping it without going there. I'm stopping. If that is 0, don't do this.
Oh, don't do this.
Yeah, just print 0. If that is not 0, then do this.
Then do this. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, right.
And the line number 23, what is that doing?
Same thing. Short circuiting, right? What is happening here?
Oh, it's like a loop right now. It's checking, right? That's what I think.
Checking, right.
So if it's
whether
number
it is
is
0,
don't do anything. It's short circuits, and then if it's not 0, then find the first one. Then
right,
it's gonna short circuit in the second one, and when it passes through. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I told you guys previously. It is really important in React. We are using it conditionally rendering something, right?
Yeah, we'll have a lot of questions tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, please ask me a lot of questions. Yeah. I am always expecting your question. Instead of explaining myself, I was most of the time expecting your question. So I feel quite comfortable if you ask me questions. So guys, please
Yeah, we
note,
wanted to
note
spend
me.
some time here, but I don't think we got the time to spend more on this one. Async.
Yeah, we
You
will
wanted
do
to teach
this.
us try catch, I think, for this one.
Yeah. We'll do that as well. I
Delaying.
actually wanted it previously, but I think it will be better if I do it now, tomorrow.
Okay.
Hi, can you please tell us what is the REST API means?
Maybe we'll explore that one later. I think it will not make sense right now. REST API is something we'll explore.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there is something called GraphQL. We'll see the difference between REST API and GraphQL as well.
Oh, no, we were just talking about API today, so I was asking what is REST API?
Yeah. REST API is slightly something we need to go something in detail. Yeah, I cannot quickly explain it. It will take some time actually.
Yeah, it will create confusion right now.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Guys, you can do something more here. If you understand, number is actually holding your array, right? It is holding dates. You can say, let's go and make all of this depth. You can say this is depth array, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is depth array, right? And this is set depth array. Yeah, that's fine. Set depth. Let's make it capital. Set. I'm changing multiple lines together. Depth array. This is same thing, just renaming. Oh, I have something I lost, I think. Oh, I removed it from here. Now what you can do is, this is array, right? Can you map it over? Can you write something like array.map? Will it work, guys? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And inside here, I just want to write this one. So now I don't have to actually access it and everything. So this is that. And here, finally, go inside here. Let me grab that index, because we know we need index, right? And inside here, inside h1 tag, I have some background noise coming. That's why I want to.
You cannot hear anything, so you're fine.
Okay. That dot name. Let me first do it and I'll explain. Okay. So what I did is map this array over, and this is the item. This is index, right? Because I want this inside key. Otherwise, React will complain me. And death.name is here, but it will not work right now. Do you know why? If I save it, it's gonna provide me some error, I think. I assume, yeah. Now same error here. Death.map is not a function. What happens actually? What should we check here? Initially, this is 0, right? This is not array, right?
Yeah.
That's why you cannot map that 0. You cannot map it over that 0, right?
So you need to
Can
make
you
that
use map
array?
function with 0?
No.
Yeah, it needs to be an array. That's why you need to check here. You need to short circuit here. You shouldn't go ahead of this point initially. So if you remember, we have one operator for that one. You can write something like this here as well. You can write and now if that is coming, then only map. This is fine. Let me save it, and now it will work. No error. We'll see this is not working, but no error. So it is going inside here, and we don't have death.name. That's why it is not working. Instead, we have death here, death.death. So let me save it. Now all of the deaths are coming here in my browser here, right? Yeah, all of these names are coming. So what I did is checked first if it is 0 or not, right? And then only mapped over that array. Instead, what I can also do is write optional chaining operator here, right here. It will check if that is a false value or not. This is really handy operator in React. Now, if I save it, it will once again work, but not working. Something is happening here. And death array.map is not a function. It is once again going ahead. Let me pass instead of 0. Let me just nothing. Let me pass nothing here. Now it is working for nothing. Maybe optional chaining is not working for 0 here. We'll see that if it is working for 0. Let me do it for empty value. Optional chaining is only working for undefined or null, I think. When we have null initially, yes, it is working. Not working for this one, 0. So if we have 0 here, 0 means some value. That's why it is going ahead. Okay, it will work for undefined and null. If you have 0, then you need to do the previous one. You need to short circuit it here.
What is question mark again?
Question mark is optional chaining operator. It will check if the value is undefined or null initially. Okay, not working for 0. If you have 0, then we'll short circuit in this way. Okay, guys, I think I will stop this session here. I got many calls here already. So maybe we'll continue from here tomorrow. Just spend some time with this line of code.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let me commit it. Yeah, please.
So the use state is equals, don't we have to make it an array? The use state? Can we do that or not?
Oh, yeah, just spend some time with this one. This is not array initially. Just try to make this array. What happens? Okay, this is actually
we could make this
question.
an array, right?
Right. We could make this possible.
But looks like you can update that to an array or anything else.
Yeah, this is not good, right? Initially it is 0. Later I'm making it array, right? It should be array all the time. Or it should be 0 all the time, number all the time. This is something about JavaScript. Later we'll fix this situation with TypeScript actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just try to do it, and if you have something which is not working, then let me know tomorrow, guys. Okay, let me commit this one. Git add all, git commit, and this is about fetching from API. We fetched something from API and we used it with React. Okay, just go to this branch, my name, and you will find this code from that branch. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Any question?
It's not merged to master yet?
Not merged to master it. Yeah. Okay. It's only available within this branch.
But the previous code is merged to master, right? The one you did.
Previous one is merged to master, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so thank you so much, guys. I'll meet you tomorrow and continue this session. Try to explore and ask me some more questions. Yeah, thank you. Good night. Have a good day, guys. Good night.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, everyone. Good night.